There are moments in life when the skies seem too heavy, the road too long, and the weight too much to bear. You pray, you wait, and sometimes you wonder if anything will ever shift. But I'm here to tell you, hold on just a little longer. Something is moving in the unseen, something powerful, something divine. What you've walked through hasn't been for nothing. Every closed door, every delayed answer, every tear shed in silence, it's all been building to this moment. You weren't being ignored. You were being prepared. The struggle you thought was the end was really the setup. The silence you feared meant abandonment was actually the space where God was arranging the breakthrough. And now it's coming, swiftly, without warning. Like a flood of light into a dark room, God is about to release a blessing so profound, so life-altering, it won't just touch your bank account, your health, or your relationships. It will touch the very core of who you are. This blessing isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about elevating you to a place you never even imagined, a place of purpose, peace, and power. So buckle up. This is not a casual ride. This is a divine shift. What was once held back is about to be released. What once seemed impossible is about to be your reality. You're not just stepping into a new season, you're stepping into your appointed time. Get ready, because when God moves, He doesn't do small things. He does the miraculous, the kind of blessing that leaves no doubt it came from Him, the kind that changes not just your circumstances, but your legacy. Every hardship, every moment of delay, and every season where you felt unseen or unheard was never a punishment, it was preparation. Life has a way of shaping us in the most unexpected ways. We don't always understand why things are happening, especially when they seem to be going in the opposite direction of where we want to be. But God has a purpose for everything. There is a deeper work being done in the silence, in the waiting, and in the struggle. It's in those moments of difficulty and uncertainty that God is preparing you for something greater. Think about a seed. A seed is planted deep into the soil, hidden away from the world. It is buried in darkness, surrounded by pressure, and yet it's all part of the process that will eventually bring forth life. If that seed were left on the surface, or if it didn't experience the pressure of the soil, it would never grow into a mighty tree or bear fruit. It takes time, patience, and hidden work for a seed to reach its potential. Similarly, your trials, your setbacks, and your waiting periods are all like that soil. They're shaping you, making you stronger, building your endurance and faith, even when you can't see the results just yet. God's preparation often comes in ways we don't expect. The times when you felt like giving up, when you thought you had reached your limit, were moments where your strength was being built for what's ahead. It's easy to think that when things aren't going the way we want, God is distant or uninterested. If we were given everything we asked for without going through the process of preparation, we wouldn't have the maturity or the wisdom to handle it. Sometimes God withholds what we desire not because we aren't worthy, but because He's making sure we're ready to manage the blessing when it comes. Each season of difficulty has a purpose, even when it's hard to see it in the moment. The pain, the disappointment, the moments when you feel like you're standing still, they're all refining you. Your faith is being deepened, your understanding of God's faithfulness is growing, and your capacity to handle greater responsibilities and greater blessings is being expanded. Without these seasons, you wouldn't be prepared for the magnitude of what God has in store for you. And then, there's the aspect of timing. It's easy to get impatient, to wonder why things are taking so long. We want to skip the process and jump straight to the end result. But God's timing is perfect. He knows exactly when you're ready. He knows exactly what needs to be worked on before you can move forward. Think about the greatest athletes or the most successful people. They didn't get there overnight. They went through rigorous training, discipline, and setbacks. They fell down, got back up, and kept pushing forward. But without that preparation, they wouldn't have the foundation to sustain their success. In the same way, God is preparing you for something big. You may not see the full picture now, but every challenge is part of His design to equip you for what's coming. During these times of preparation, God is also working to deepen your relationship with Him. It's in the waiting, the uncertainty, that we often grow the most in our trust and dependence on God. When we have no other option but to rely on Him, that's when our faith becomes real. It's easy to praise God when everything is going well, but when things are tough, when the answers don't come immediately, that's when our faith is truly tested. This is when we learn to trust in God's goodness, His timing, and His sovereignty. We realize that His plans are far greater than anything we could ever plan for ourselves. God is building something in you that will not only carry you through the blessings, but will sustain them for the long term. When the promotion comes, when the breakthrough happens, you will have the inner strength to handle it. Your character will be strong enough to withstand the pressure, and your heart will be big enough to receive it without being overwhelmed. The person you are becoming in this season of preparation will be the person who can steward the blessings in the next season. It's the trials that build you, the waiting that refines you, and the difficulties that shape you into the person God is calling you to be. So, when you look back and see all the struggles and delays, don't see them as setbacks or signs of failure. See them as part of God's divine preparation for the amazing things ahead. Trust that He is working in every moment, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Every challenge is shaping you for your promotion, your blessing, and the purpose He has designed for your life. Keep going, keep trusting, because everything that feels like a struggle now will one day make sense when you step into the fullness of the blessing He has prepared for you. When God moves, His actions are often sudden and unmistakable. There are moments when we feel like we're stuck in a cycle, where everything seems the same day after day, and we wonder if change will ever come. We might have spent years praying, hoping, and believing for something to shift, but nothing seems to happen. We wait, we endure, and we sometimes begin to doubt if anything will ever change. But just when it feels like we've reached the end of our rope, that's when God steps in. When His timing is right, a breakthrough can come in an instant, shifting everything in a way that leaves no doubt that it is His hand at work. The thing about God's movements is that they aren't bound by our understanding of time. What may feel like a long season of waiting or struggle can be turned around in a moment. It might seem impossible, even illogical, that things could change so dramatically, but with God there is nothing too difficult. He can take years of seemingly unanswered prayers and make them look like nothing more than a momentary pause before the floodgates of blessing open wide. That's the power of God's breakthrough. It often happens so suddenly, so undeniably, that it feels as though it was destined to happen all along. Think about how many times in Scripture God did things in a moment that no one expected. When Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, they were backed into a corner with the Red Sea in front of them and the Egyptian army closing in behind them. It seemed like the end. In a matter of moments, their circumstances were completely transformed. No one could have predicted such a dramatic shift, and yet it happened, suddenly, by the power of God. This is how God often works. The years of preparation, of waiting, of facing obstacles, they may feel endless, but when God decides to move, the change is instant, and it's undeniable. What once felt like an impossible situation can be turned around in a heartbeat. The long-held dreams, the prayers that have seemed unanswered, and the hope that faded can suddenly come to life in a way that leaves no room for doubt about where the blessing came from. There's something about a divine breakthrough that is so unmistakable, so powerful, that everyone involved can only acknowledge that it was God. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the waiting room, how many closed doors you've faced, or how many setbacks you've endured. When God moves, everything changes. You might have thought you were stuck, that things would always be this way, but suddenly you find yourself stepping into a new season, with doors opening before you that you never even thought possible. The beauty of a breakthrough is that it doesn't just impact one area of your life. It changes everything. The shift that comes with God's divine intervention is so comprehensive that it often reverberates through every part of your life, your relationships, your finances, your health, your mindset. What once seemed like a distant dream or an unreachable goal becomes your reality, and you realize that all the waiting, all the pain, and all the struggles were part of the process that led you to this moment. You won't be able to explain it away or attribute it to anything other than God's goodness. When His breakthrough comes, it is evident to everyone around you that this is divine intervention. It's easy to get discouraged when we feel like nothing is changing, but there's a divine timing at work that we can't always see. The waiting period may seem long, but it's important to remember that nothing in God's kingdom is ever wasted. Every moment is being used to position you for what's coming. The waiting builds anticipation, the endurance builds strength, and the preparation builds your character. Then, when God knows you are ready, He makes His move, and it's often a move that will leave you speechless. What felt like an unchanging situation can suddenly flip, and the new reality you step into will be one that shows just how real and powerful God's love and faithfulness are. And when it happens, you won't be able to take the credit for it. It won't be the result of your own hard work, your own efforts, or your own timing. It will be clear that it was God who opened the doors, who made the impossible possible, and who brought about a shift that no one could have predicted. The breakthrough is often so undeniable that even those who are skeptical about your dreams or your faith will have to admit that it was God who did it. His power is so vast, His reach so far, that no situation is beyond His ability to transform. So even in your waiting, hold on to the belief that a breakthrough can come at any moment. Keep your faith high, stay patient, and trust that God's timing is perfect. The breakthrough you've been praying for could be just around the corner, and when it arrives, it will arrive swiftly and powerfully, leaving no doubt that it was God who made it happen. Get ready for what He is about to do in your life. It will be sudden, it will be undeniable, and it will be a blessing that you will never forget. This blessing is not just about a small win or a temporary fix. It's something far greater. It's the kind of blessing that redefines the trajectory of your life, that changes your very direction and shifts the foundation of everything you once thought was possible. We often think of blessings in terms of material gains, momentary successes, or quick fixes for our struggles. But when God steps in with a blessing that is truly transformative, it's not just about a single moment. It's about the entire course of your life being altered in ways that are profound and eternal. When this kind of blessing comes, it doesn't just solve one issue or make things a little easier for you. It opens up new doors, reveals new opportunities, and sets a new direction that will lead you into greater purpose and fulfillment. It's the kind of blessing that causes you to look back on your life and realize that everything you've been through was part of a much larger plan. And when the blessing arrives, you'll understand that it wasn't just about getting what you wanted. It was about becoming the person you were always meant to be. This blessing is about transformation, not just transaction. It will not only change what you have, but it will change who you are. It will stretch your vision and raise your expectations. When you experience a blessing like this, you'll see your life in a whole new light. You'll begin to recognize the areas where you were once limiting yourself, and the opportunities that you previously overlooked will become crystal clear. You'll stop thinking small because you'll realize that the God who blesses you is a God who does immeasurably more than you could ever ask or imagine. This blessing doesn't just impact you on a surface level. It shifts your internal landscape, your mindset, your perspective, and your understanding of what's possible will expand. You'll move from a place of surviving to a place of thriving. You'll stop being content with merely getting by, and you'll start to dream bigger and reach higher. The blessing that comes from God is meant to redefine what success looks like in your life. It's not measured by what others have, but by the alignment of your heart with God's purpose for you. Furthermore, this blessing isn't just about you. It's about your family, your legacy, and the generations that follow. When God blesses you in this way, the impact goes beyond your immediate circumstances. It's something that will flow into the lives of those you love and care about. Your children, your loved ones, and those in your sphere of influence will experience the ripple effect of God's favor. The standard for your family will be raised. The way you live, the way you love, and the way you lead will shift in ways that elevate everyone around you. It's not just about improving your life. It's about creating a legacy that will outlast you, one that will inspire and equip future generations to walk in the fullness of God's blessing. The beauty of this blessing is that it doesn't just give you a one-time victory. It's a foundational shift. Once you experience this kind of blessing, you will never be the same. You won't return to your old ways of thinking, your old habits, or your old limitations. You will step into a new reality, one that is shaped by the power of God's provision, His love, and His plans for your life. The blessing becomes a catalyst for further growth and greater purpose. You'll begin to see doors open in areas you never expected, relationships deepen in ways that feel supernatural, and opportunities multiply in ways that defy logic. It's the kind of blessing that keeps giving, because it doesn't just change your situation, it changes you. This blessing will also increase your ability to give, to serve, and to bless others. As God elevates you, you become a vessel for His goodness to flow through. The more He pours into your life, the more you'll be able to pour into the lives of others. This is a blessing that, when received, does not just stay with you, it overflows. You'll begin to see how God's goodness in your life can make a tangible difference in the world around you. The generosity you receive in this blessing will inspire a generosity that flows out to others, further extending the impact of God's work in your life. And perhaps most importantly, this blessing will deepen your relationship with God. When God blesses you in this profound way, your faith in Him will grow stronger. You'll have first-hand experience of His faithfulness, and this will fuel your trust in Him for the future. The transformation you experience will lead to a deeper intimacy with God as you begin to recognize His hand at work in every aspect of your life. You'll realize that the blessing is not just about what you gain, but about the deeper relationship you now have with the Creator of the universe. As you walk in this new season, you'll feel the weight of the blessing, not in a burdensome way, but in a way that reminds you of your responsibility to steward it well. This blessing is not just for you to enjoy, but for you to share, to multiply, and to use for the greater good. It's a reminder that with God, your life will never be the same again. The way you see yourself, the way you see your future, and the way you see your purpose will be completely redefined. This blessing is the turning point that takes you from the ordinary to the extraordinary, from the temporary to the eternal, from the natural to the supernatural. Faith is the seatbelt for the journey. It's that anchor that keeps you secure when everything around you feels uncertain. Life's journey is full of twists and turns, unexpected detours, and sudden changes in direction. The road is not always smooth, and the path ahead isn't always clear. But in the midst of all the uncertainty, faith is what keeps you steady. Just like a seatbelt protects you in a car, faith protects you on this journey. It ensures that no matter how bumpy the ride may get, you are anchored, held securely, and moving in the right direction. There are times when the journey of life feels like it's going full speed ahead, and you're just trying to hang on. You might not understand the reasons for the rapid acceleration, and you certainly can't see what lies ahead. But that's where faith comes in. Faith is trusting that even when you can't see how things are going to work out, even when everything around you seems chaotic and unpredictable, God is still in control. Faith is that trust that no matter what happens, you're not alone, and you're not driving the car yourself. God is at the wheel. Faith isn't just about believing that everything will be okay. It's about trusting that, even in the moments when it doesn't seem okay, God's plan is still unfolding, and He is still guiding you. When you buckle up, you're acknowledging that the journey might get rough. You don't know every bump in the road, every curve, or every hill you'll climb, but you trust that the seatbelt will keep you safe and in place. Similarly, faith is that reassurance that you don't have to know every detail of the journey to know that you'll be okay. The ride may be intense, and there may be moments when fear tries to take over, but your faith keeps you anchored in the truth that God is with you, just as the seatbelt doesn't prevent you from feeling the bumps in the road, but keeps you secure through them. Faith doesn't remove the difficulties you face, but it provides you with the security and strength to handle them. It's easy to get distracted or fearful when you can't see where you're going. You may feel like you're speeding into the unknown and the twists and turns of life are coming faster than you can process. But in these moments, faith isn't about seeing the way ahead. It's about trusting that God sees what you can't. Faith allows you to stay steady even when the destination seems uncertain. It's the trust that the journey, no matter how wild it may seem, is leading you exactly where you need to go. And just like you don't question the seatbelt while riding in a car, you shouldn't question God's plan for you, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment. As you move forward, you may feel like you're accelerating, but this acceleration is not a sign of danger. It's often a sign of God's movement in your life. Sometimes the speed of the journey might overwhelm you, and you may feel like it's all happening too fast, like you're losing control. But this is where faith becomes your seatbelt. It keeps you secure during the rapid acceleration. It is in these moments that God is doing His greatest work in you, building your trust, growing your character, and preparing you for what's ahead. He knows what you need, and He knows when you're ready to take the next step. Faith in the acceleration means believing that God is guiding you even when the pace feels too fast for your comfort. Don't lose heart in the process. It's tempting to want to control every aspect of the journey, to make sure everything goes according to your plan. But faith calls us to let go of that control, to trust that God has a plan far greater than anything we could conceive. It's in the unknown that God can do His best work. When we step out in faith, we're letting go of our own limitations and embracing the possibility that God can do the impossible. Even when things don't go as planned, faith teaches us that God is still working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything to fulfill His purpose for us. Staying strapped in with belief is about resisting the temptation to give in to doubt or fear when the road ahead seems unclear. Faith doesn't mean that you have all the answers or that you'll never face challenges. It means trusting that God's presence is with you through it all. When you're strapped in with faith, you're positioning yourself to receive everything God has for you. You're saying, I don't know what's next, but I trust you. And that trust, that steadfast belief, is what will carry you through the most difficult moments and push you toward the greatest blessings. It's important to recognize that even when we're in the midst of rapid movement or uncertainty, God is still working. He's always working, even when we can't see it. Faith is the assurance that God is doing something in you and for you that you may not yet understand. Even in the speed of the journey, even when you can't see all the details, He is guiding you with a purpose. Your seatbelt of faith ensures that you are secure through the ups and downs, and that when the road smooths out again, you will be stronger and more equipped for the future ahead. So buckle up, because the journey you're on is leading you to something greater. Trust that even when you can't see how it's all going to work out, your faith is keeping you anchored. Stay strapped in with belief, because the acceleration may feel intense, but it's exactly where God wants you to be. Through every twist, turn, and rapid change, your faith will be the thing that keeps you moving forward, secure in the knowledge that God is in control. And at the end of the journey, you will see that every bump and every sharp turn was part of the divine plan that led you exactly where you needed to be. Sometimes in the midst of waiting, we can start to feel like we're falling behind. We look around and see others receiving what we've been waiting for, achieving things we've dreamed about, and moving forward in ways that we feel we haven't. It's easy to get caught up in the lie that we're too late, that we've missed the opportunity, or that somehow we've fallen out of sync with God's plan for our lives. But I want to remind you today that you're not late. You're not behind. God's timing is always strategic, and the blessing that is meant for you is coming exactly when it's supposed to. There's a deep and comforting truth in knowing that God's timing never misses. The world may rush ahead, and we may feel like we're standing still, but God sees the whole picture. He understands the bigger plan and knows when the right moment is for everything in your life. Even when we can't see it, every moment of waiting, every season of silence has purpose. The key to understanding this is realizing that God's timing isn't based on our clocks, our expectations, or our schedules. His timing is based on His perfect wisdom and knowledge of what we need when we need it. Think about the way the seasons change. The transition from winter to spring doesn't happen early, and it doesn't happen late. It happens exactly when it's supposed to. If the timing were off, if spring arrived too early, it could damage crops and disrupt the natural order of things. If it came too late, it would delay the growth that needs to take place for the year ahead. There's a perfect rhythm to nature, a precise timing to the way everything in the world unfolds, and this is exactly how God works in our lives. His timing is not accidental or arbitrary. It's as intentional and calculated as the change in seasons. In the same way, every moment you've spent waiting, every moment of apparent delay has been a part of the larger process that God is orchestrating for you. It's easy to become frustrated when we feel like things are not happening fast enough. We may feel like we've missed our window of opportunity or that we're not where we should be. But the truth is that God knows exactly where you are, and He knows exactly when the time is right for you to step into the next season of your life. God's timing is strategic because it takes into account everything that you need to grow, mature, and thrive. Sometimes we're not ready for what we're asking for. We think we are, we feel like we are, but in God's perfect wisdom, He knows exactly when we are prepared to handle the blessing He's about to bring. If He gave us what we wanted too soon, we might not be equipped to handle it. The waiting period is not wasted. It's a time of preparation, refining, and growth. It's in the waiting that we learn to trust, to grow our faith, and to develop the strength we need to walk into the new season that God has prepared for us. We don't always understand why we have to wait or why things don't happen on our timetable, but God is never in a hurry. He's always working behind the scenes, setting things into place, arranging the details in ways we can't yet see. There are moments when we feel like everything is standing still, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Just because we can't see the progress doesn't mean God isn't moving. The waiting is a time of building, of laying the foundation for something greater that's coming. The seed that is planted in the ground doesn't immediately sprout. It needs time to take root, to grow, and to strengthen before it can bear fruit. And so it is with the blessings God has for us. His timing ensures that everything is aligned perfectly for the fullness of His plan to unfold. When we look at Scripture, we see example after example of God's perfect timing. Take the story of Joseph. Joseph had a dream of greatness, of rising to a place of power and influence. But the road to that promise was not straightforward. It was filled with betrayal, imprisonment, and years of waiting. Yet God's timing was perfect. Joseph wasn't late, he wasn't behind. Every moment of hardship and delay was preparing him for the position he would one day occupy. When the time was right, God opened the door for Joseph to step into his purpose. And when it happened, it was undeniable that it was God's timing. In the same way, the blessings God has for you are coming in His perfect time. You might not see it now, but God is arranging every detail of your life with intentionality. He knows what you need, and He knows when you'll be ready for it. Your blessing isn't delayed or out of reach. It's simply waiting for the right moment to manifest. When it comes, you'll see that every second of waiting, every season of uncertainty had a purpose. The waiting is part of the preparation, and it's leading you exactly where you need to be. So, trust in God's timing. Trust that you are not late and that you are not behind. God is never late. He is always right on time. Every season of waiting has its purpose, and it's all working together for your good. Trust the process. Embrace the waiting, and know that the blessing that is meant for you is coming exactly when it's supposed to. God's timing never misses. And when the time is right, everything will fall into place in ways that will leave you in awe of His faithfulness. When this blessing hits, it won't just be for you. It will overflow. The impact will ripple out, touching the lives of others in ways you may not even realize. Your journey, with all its struggles, doubts, and victories, will become a beacon of hope for those who are still walking through their own seasons of waiting. Your testimony will become a source of inspiration, a testament to the faithfulness of God that sparks courage and belief in others who are still holding on, still waiting for their breakthrough. It's easy to think of blessings as something that are purely for us, something that we receive in a private, personal moment. But the truth is, blessings don't just exist for us to enjoy. They are meant to overflow, to pour out into the lives of others, touching those around us in ways that can't be measured. When God blesses you, it's not only a reflection of His goodness toward you, but also a message to those who are still in the middle of their struggles, still praying, still hoping for something to change. When they see your victory, your triumph, your answered prayers, it will ignite something within them. It will spark hope, faith, and a renewed belief that if God can do it for you, He can do it for them too. Your story is powerful because it's real. It's a testament to the fact that God doesn't just move in the lives of people who have it all together, who always know what to do and when to do it. Your journey is a story of overcoming fear, doubt, and obstacles. It's the story of someone who faced the impossible, who struggled, who waited, and who kept going even when the road was unclear. And in the end, it's the story of someone who experienced God's faithfulness in a way that cannot be denied. When others see that, when they hear your testimony, it will be a lifeline. It will give them the courage to continue, to believe, and to trust that their own breakthrough is coming. Sometimes we wonder why we go through such difficult seasons, why the road is so long, and why the waiting feels unbearable. But in those moments, it's important to remember that what we're going through is not just about us. It's about the people who will need to hear our story one day. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of frustration is being used to shape a testimony that will inspire and encourage others. The victory that you will experience is not just a personal win, it's a communal one. When you step into your blessing, it won't just be a victory for you. It will be a victory for all those who are watching, who are waiting, who are believing, and who need to see that God is still in the business of miracles. Your testimony will become a living, breathing example of God's power to transform. It will show others that no matter how impossible their situation may seem, God is faithful to fulfill His promises. Your story will remind them that they are not alone in their waiting, that their prayers are heard, and that their breakthrough is just around the corner. Sometimes, all someone needs to hear is that someone else made it through. They just need to know that it's possible. And your victory will be the proof they need to hold on a little longer, to keep praying, to keep believing, and to keep trusting that God will come through for them as well. As your story unfolds, you'll realize that the blessing isn't just in the outcome, it's in the way it has shaped you, grown you, and changed you along the way. The process is as important as the blessing itself, because it's in the waiting and the struggle that God works in us the most. It's in those moments that we learn to trust Him more deeply, to rely on His strength, and to grow in our faith. And as you share your journey, it will be clear that the victory wasn't about you, but about the work God did in you to bring you to this place. Your story will not only be a testimony of what God has done, but a testimony of what He can do in the lives of anyone who trusts Him. When you step into your blessing, you will find that the people around you, your friends, family, and even strangers who hear your story, will begin to see things differently. Your journey will encourage them to look at their own circumstances with a new perspective. They will begin to believe that if God did it for you, He can do it for them. Your victory will be a spark of faith in others, igniting hope where there once was despair, and reminding everyone that their time is coming too. Your story will be a testament to God's faithfulness, a story that continues to inspire and encourage long after the blessing has come. And while the blessing may start with you, its impact will spread far and wide. It will change lives, ignite hearts, and encourage others to step out in faith, knowing that their breakthrough is on its way. When this blessing hits, it will overflow, not just in your life, but in the lives of everyone who hears your story and finds the strength to keep going because of it. Your victory will be their hope, and your faith will be the spark that lights the way for them to keep pressing forward toward their own breakthrough.